Marketing and sales. Because if you're a business and you're not doing into marketing and sales, well, you don't really have a business. And in particular, I really have an affinity for marketing. Sales is good too, but I just like the attraction piece of business. Um, so I'm going to speak a little bit about the topic to kick things off. And at any time, if you want to contribute to the conversation, if you want to share, go ahead and raise your hand. You can raise your physical hand or you can raise your digital hand. All right. Martin. All right. Oh, lots of more people coming in. Awesome. Yeah. Cool. I think this is the most people we've had for conversations with creators, and I'm honored. I'm honored to host space because I believe in supporting the hero's journey through the pathway of entrepreneurship. And a lot of business experts, they'll support that journey through tactics and strategy. And I believe some of that support comes through community, through connections, through conversations, just through being in spaces with each other. Um, so I'll kick it off by talking a little bit about marketing and sales. And I met with one of our members here in Chiang Mai, Thailand, for coffee on Monday. And he asked me, who is it again? I have to think about it. Joel. It was Joel Rickard. Yeah, I met Joel Rickard, who's here visiting Chiang Mai, Thailand. So cool to network and meet other schoolers and meet in person. And I said, Joel, I like marketing more than sales. Why do you like marketing more than sales? And what is the difference between marketing and sales in your opinion? And I thought about an actual market, like an ancient market, just selling produce, selling fruit. What is marketing and sales like if you go to a market and you buy some fruit? So to me, marketing is when you're aware of something that you want to buy. How do you become aware of something for purchase? So if there's a fruit vendor at the market, he has to show up every day. You have to be visible because if you're not visible, if you don't show up, if people don't see what they can buy, then they won't buy. So someone goes to the merchant, the fruit vendor, and let's say someone sees some apples, some shiny red apples on display. That's marketing. So when he asks, how much is this apple? It becomes sales because it becomes a conversation about, well, how many apples do you want? What kind of apples are you looking for? Do you like sweet apples? Do you like sour apples? And of course, the sale is the transaction, the actual sale. So, in talking to my colleague about that, I was like, hey, that's a pretty good answer. I'm going to share that in my next conversations with creators. And in addition to this topic, like, marketing and sales, it is also like, what are the trends? What are the trends in marketing and sales that you see? Um, what are the trends that you see that are going well that you like? What are some of the trends that you don't like? What are some of the trends that you say may be shifting? And also that said, like we're all here on school, so what is one trend in marketing and sales in business? Well, school, community, and connection as well. So yeah, if anyone wants to chime in, feel free to raise your hand about marketing, sales, trends you see, things you like, things you don't like. Yes, Nathaniel, what great timing. I invited Nathaniel to join my community right before this call, so I'm honored to have you here.
I really appreciate that, Justin. And part of there's a little bit of noise in the background there. It's so funny you brought up the ancient marketing because that came to my heart like a few weeks ago. I was thinking about marketing and that word's always been there. So I really love that because I feel like it's such a human thing, but it's like a lot of things in life, we put it on this pedestal. Like if it's playing music, it's like the rock stars. If it's, enlightenment, it's like for the masters. But all of these things are, I think, what connect us as human beings, to one another. And it's all about relationships at the end of the day. When you go to the market, it's like a place where everyone can flourish and thrive and get what they want. And I feel like for me, if that's the key, it's like I believe in like soft sales, like really helping people with finding what they need and want and not pushing things onto people because you've created some formula or something. So really helping people in a way that is authentic to that adds increase and upliftment to their life. I feel like that's the trend, and I think that's why community is so important. And I feel like that's why school is allowing many people to thrive because people are finding one another based on their interests. They're finding those shiny red apples that are good for them instead of trying to follow in someone else's generic footsteps because someone acquired a private jet and seems to have it all put together, but really inside they might be anxious and worried about not having enough. I've heard billionaires say they don't even feel like they have enough until they have like 100 billion. And when they get there, will that be enough? Who knows? So I feel like community just allows us to be real and to also share just authentically, like, because the reality is way too many there's such an abundance of people that need service and help. There's more than enough for all of us as entrepreneurs to
Mhm.
flourish as well. So I feel like when we have authentic relationships together, we will know, oh, so and so can connect with this is a person that you could work with, and we can share, or, our resources authentically and organically in a way that just uplifts everyone.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. So sometimes I do this, and this is sign language for applause. Eileen, what do you do? She does little snappy fingers. So if someone says something that you just really resonate with, like you go ahead and do that, send some positive energy and vibes, So when Nathaniel was talking about abundance and how there's enough for everyone, that was when I did my applause. So yeah, cool, awesome. Martin.
Yeah, thank you. I would like to build on that because it resonates very well with, I would say, four trends that I see currently in marketing and sales and how they interact, and especially how school finds a very interesting place in this. And I'm interested to hear how the others perceive this. Um, I feel like we are in a phase where sales cycles are getting longer all the time. Like it takes longer for people to buy from you because building trust takes longer because you can claim more stuff faster with AI, which is, I think, one of the main contributing factors. And you kind of it's becoming harder to cut through the noise. And so building connection takes longer because there's just a lot of like fake content out there, and so finding the real human part in this takes longer, and that's why sales cycles take longer. And that shifts a bit attention to authentic, more human connection marketing, which is kind of, I think, somewhere in between, because it's not just like showing your apples. It's like talking with the people that come to the market about their family every day. And then at some point they say, yeah, my family is great. Also, I would like to buy some apples. But it takes like all the time of talking about the family and the weather and whatever, and until you get there, although it's not related to the apples at all. So this is like sales cycles taking longer, authentic human connection needing to be built is something that's becoming more valuable. AI generated content and going fast and like this marketing bro vibe, but on AI steroids is kind of one path. And I feel like the other path that we're seeing is like the path that school seems to favor, which is the one of actually building communities and long, authentic connections so that at some point people say, yes, I would like some of your apples, please, because really, I've been seeing them now for weeks, and you seem like a nice guy, so your apples must be delicious as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So good. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'll call on you in a moment, Jarna. Let me share a little bit. So what I think is I like the Apple analogy. I like that we're running with it. But also it's I trust this vendor, right? He's nice. I have a relationship with him. I know his family. I know his friends. His friends say he has good apples. And also as creators, like you can only get that apple from that one vendor. Like that vendor is his tree. Like you buy apples from someone else. Like it's not the same. So that's some of like, your purpose, your genius, your abilities. Like the apples are like the apples taste different because you can only get it from that vendor. Um, Yeah, that's what came to mind for me. Yeah, cool. Jarn.
Yeah, thank you. Like what I see is that when you have trust and you build a relationship, maybe not just the person comes and gets the apples, but maybe the entire family. So it's like, you build the trust and like when you buy something with a purpose because you really want to share this moment with this person who really is interested in you as a being, then it's more um possible, or like the possibility is higher that the family comes as well because he is talking with his family about what he likes and he's sharing his experiences. So the people will come more often to you if it's like that. So I think it's to be patient and to be genuine and to offer something that's really a benefit for not just one person, but yeah, for the entire family.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I imagine the vendor of the apples, the merchant of the apples. He owns the apple tree. And he tells the story of how his father or his grandfather planted the seeds that then became the apple tree that then he has the fruit to at the market that he's sharing. Um, because I really, I mean, facts tell, stories sell, right? And yeah, I like the apple analogy. I think it's a good one, but not exactly as embodied as like you're sharing your experiences and your wisdom in your coaching or your services, but it's a good relatable dynamic. I do know I introduced like the apple at the market. So it's a good starting analogy. Cool. All right, Stephanie.
Hey there, I'm so glad to be here. It's serendipitous or synchronistic that you say this right now, just because my theme of my business and my teams are right now going back to the garden. So it's simplifying everything this year and bringing people into alignment. We're going back to the garden, we're going to simplicity, but we're going back to one on one human connections and face to face. And I absolutely love that. And I'm just so inspired by this group of people and just starting from yesterday. Just the fact that that is going back, like Jarne said, to the family. We're going back to that unit to be able to see, what they need. What are your needs? And let me tell you my story that started back in the garden. I'm not going to make it complicated, but I'm going to tell you where I started, where I came from, and now where I am. And that's how I've learned to sell, or I'm learning to sell, because I'm not a pusher, but I love telling stories. So thank you. This is a great topic.
Yeah. Yeah, glad. Yeah. I'll say after the last one, which was dealing with rejection and judgment and not enoughness as you build your business, like I just felt like wiser after attending that session and hosting it. And I feel like even this session is like, wow, these are such great insights and experiences. So, Eileen.
So this is so where I'm at right now because my community opens next week. And I went into schoolers and I asked a question of what makes people stick around and commit to your group. And it's funny because my word for 2026 is the word free. Free to be self completely, right? And it's out there. I'm fully me here, but I also get to be me out there. And I got some responses that it's about us being who we are completely and having fun with that. And I think what happens is that with all of these cookie cutter systems that people have developed and people have followed, it's not that's not who we are. That's not how we connect. Like, what you said about the tree, like that's your tree that was grown on your soil. And so it's going to taste different all the time. And I heard somebody say, like, until you put your hand up and show somebody who you really are and let them know where you are, your audience is lost. They're in somebody else's parking lot. So we have to show who we are. We have to say, like, this is the unique tree. These are the unique colors for my tree,
Mm.
you know? And what happens is that because of this cookie cutter stuff, we've been made wrong for so long. I've been in the entrepreneur game for 14 years almost. So we've been made wrong for wanting to be ourselves. So now I'm seeing the trend of the switch of, Martin, I love your the apples in the trees. So now I feel like the tide is shifting to all of us being individuals. And in Ava Raposa's group, she's in the Connect, she's the host of the community builder of the Connect and Collab group. If you're not in there, it's great. And she says that they don't allow AI posts in there. Like, what an awesome rule, that really challenges us to be our authentic selves, which I think we could really use more of. And I think we're going to be really attractive when we all take off our masks and really show who we truly are. I think that's the next level.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, Naval is a entrepreneur and thought leader. He says if you want to have an easy business that is just good and feels right, he says productize your authenticity. I really like that. I really like that. And I feel we do that within our communities. And I like the word or the phrase rallying point. Like, what does your community become a rallying point for? As the leader, people come to have conversations with you or to engage with you about something you're passionate for. So how do you become a rallying point for people who are also interested in that or who are also passionate about that, which also has to do with productizing your authenticity. All right, we had Jarn.
Yeah, I want to speak to the community aspect of things because, like, Eileen mentioning we as individuals, like, being authentic, like, we gotta be ourselves, like, there's no other way around it. And I think we all feel that. And like, how I see it is like we're a big organism, like, each one of us is part of that organism. And how it has worked is like we've been greedy and trying to take from others without like being able to provide, and nurture each other to support. And now we're like learning to support each other's. So my system supports yours supports Eileen's, like, or, we merge systems, we merge communities, and we share wisdom and experiences. So from that place on, things become more natural and organic without us really needing to try to sell anything because we're selling ourselves by providing, by giving, by living for giving, like to live to give. This is for me like what forgiving is like. So I'm here to give and to provide and to share what I have. And others will benefit from that. And I will benefit from what others give as well.
Yeah, good. Yeah. I'll share some of our inner circle language because Martin did it. So it was actually it was the after party of a call I co-hosted with my co-host Ben. We do the networking calls together, and we were doing a workshop for how to co-host or host your own networking call in your community because like I believe that the more people who network, like the more we all win. So I really want to encourage other community leaders to host networking calls. If that's you and you need help hosting a networking call, let me know. More than glad to help you out there. But then we talked a lot about cross-pollination. It's interesting, like vendors and entrepreneurs, creators, cross-pollination. And Martin came up with this motion for cross-pollination. So if you see Martin or someone do this, that's our sign for cross-pollination. It's a fun thing to do too. Cool. Tanya, you had your hand up?
I did. I think riding on what Eileen had brought up, the things that we've been taught, one of the words that was overused over the past decade was authenticity, as if authenticity is something that could be created. You are supposed to be authentic. You're supposed to do authenticity, as opposed to getting really deep into who you are, what you stand for, what you believe in, what you want for your people. and being in integrity and being in alignment with what those things are. And I think one of the really great analogies that are metaphors that I could use in riding this apple cart is the difference between an organic apple and a lab produced apple, and the nutrients that are in an organic apple versus the one that we've been told if you make them lab, you'll get more of them, you'll sell more of them, you'll get more buyers. People love it. They don't know the difference. And the truth is, we're on the internet. People don't know the difference between our real lives and the lives that we're saying we're living. And so it's really important that we feel that we are in integrity and that our authenticity is authentic to ourselves as much as it is to the other people.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. We're talking about authenticity. It's a great topic. One of my favorite sayings to share and reflect on is it's the hardest and the easiest thing in the world to be yourself. And I think that has something to do with authenticity and also productizing your authenticity. All right, Mr. Nathaniel.
Had me thinking. I forget what I was going to say, so I'll just talk from my heart. Oh yeah. So I feel like in talking to a lot of creators, and like what I've always seen, what we're to do is building conscious bridges between communities. And I feel like what's come up a lot in talking to a lot of people is the topic of money. So when we talk about like how much that apple costs, I feel like we're in a society where a lot of us have been conditioned with limiting beliefs around money. And you were talking about sales, like a conversation I had recently on our podcast with someone about talking about each of us being like the waves on top of the ocean. We're supported by this larger ocean, but as a unified consciousness and our individuation, like we perceive ourselves as separate, but I mean, my spirit name means the keeper or steward of the land. And to me, it's like my body is an expression of Mother Earth. And so when we see ourselves that way, like some of you are probably aware, like the language of money, like currency, it's related to Monday, related to the moon, like it's related to the waters, right? This flow. So I thought the word sale, when someone's talking about that, like what are you selling? And we don't have to sell. It's like, well, it's almost like we're these troughs, where these waves and troughs on the and we're sailing on this ocean. We're in this journey, but we're all like, I feel like when we're really in our integrity, like you said, Tanya, and we're in our authenticity, we're realizing the wholeness of our interconnection. Like we can all rise together. And I feel like that's what school is designed to do. Like all boats can rise together. We can all flourish and thrive. And that's what makes it a unique platform. And I think we have this really unique opportunity because I think it's because of the name school. I didn't know what it was. I mean, I had divinely inspired dreams that led me here. But when people hear it, they think, oh, it's just another educational platform. I don't need more courses. But when the masses really understand this is like a true place of community where we can do what we love and make really beautiful money that's aligned with our purpose, I think like it's like I feel like we'll be triaging just the masses of people who are coming in with these wounds of like limiting beliefs around their purpose, around money, and all these things. So I feel like we're in networking and talking and sharing in our integrity. I feel like we're igniting within others so that we can be of greater service when all these people come in, and we're creating like a wholesome network that they can step into rather than this like flurry of more information, more distraction. That's my wish for school, anyways, to see it evolve.
It's really good. Yeah. Yeah, I in my intro post, one of my pin posts, I ask individuals to introduce themselves and to say who you're looking to meet. And one of the new members said, I'm looking to meet other spiritual entrepreneurs. And my response was, oh, you're in the right place. All right, Martin.
Yes, I would like to connect something that Tanya said to something that Nathaniel said, which is, Tanya, you said we're on the internet, people don't know who we are, or whether what we claim we are or who we claim we are is actually who we are. And I actually think that's not true. It's something that we think that is true, and that we can create a fake internet identity, but it's actually not. And people usually they can't pinpoint it, but they feel if you're not yourself. And the more off you are, the more they feel it, and the more you try, and it really erodes trust, and it erodes trust that is now even harder to build. And so I think that's it's just a fake idea that you can be something on the internet that you are not, or who you are not. And the interesting part is where I think this meets with the part that Nathaniel said about money and sales is when you're trying to sell who you are on the internet, every sale automatically becomes very personal. And every value that you, or any money that you want to have, feels like someone is evaluating if you are worth that much. Usually yourself first, and you're criticizing yourself first, and then you're unsure whether you're actually worth the price. And if you're not worth the price, then you're having problems with selling it. And then everything spirals down, because then you're feeling like, I already charge too little for what I'm supposed to be worth, and people still don't buy it, usually because maybe you're not good at sale and you're just learning all the things and so on, and then it lowers your self-esteem. And I think trying to be someone else is kind of a protection mechanism that many people have, because if you're trying to be someone else, then you don't have to sell yourself or be prized by others for who you are, and the blow feels softer, but the downturn is that you're not yourself anymore, and so what you're selling is like not you, and so it's not yours to sell.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. Such depth, Martin. I had no idea. I thought you were like the market research product guy, and now I'm like, whoa. Totally. There's the energy of money and our perception of self-worth that is affected by marketing and sales. And when you productize your authenticity, it's like it is us that we're offering, but there's also a healthy level of detachment where it is still a product and a service. But I'd also say that some individuals who are a bit more relational, who are a bit more in touch with their emotions, it's good and a bad thing. They can put more of themselves in their offer, which is amazing, but you also have to maneuver that dynamic of rejection or not being liked or self-worth, which is actually the topic of our last conversations with creators, dealing with rejection and not enoughness as you build your business. All right, next we have Tanya.
Thank you for pointing that out, Martin. The idea that that it's not that one cannot sense when somebody is being inauthentic was not what I was actually trying to say. I'm just, we had those people a decade ago who were on the infomercials and all of that stuff, presenting themselves as billionaires, and then you find out that they're in front of a house that's on Airbnb. But one of the things that I like to tell people, my students, my clients, etc., is when I was little, my great grandmother used to tell me that I was worth $1 million. And this is a woman who was born at the turn of the century. So that was an astronomical amount of money for her. And the idea that we're supposed to charge what we're worth, as opposed to charge the value of what we're offering, the value of the solution, is something that I like to tell people. You're never charging what you're worth, because literally Beyonce and Oprah would be your clients, and that would be it. But what you are and what is in alignment with what you believe the solution is worth is the right amount. And if you divorce yourself from the outcome, you are the conduit to the outcome. You are not the outcome itself. And so I like to remind people that the connecting the money to who they are is a very dangerous game to play, because it hurts.
Good. All right, we have Eileen.
So I wanted to show this book. It's by Earl Nightingale, Lead the Field. Highly recommend because it's part of what we're talking about now. And going back to money, there's something that is, in the minds of us as, creators, coaches, consultants, and then also the buyers, right? Our clients and who we're serving, where there's a value of money. And some people understand it as they're trading time for money because employee mindset, right? When we were in school, we all went out, we got jobs, and we had time for money. And then we have as entrepreneurs, we're like, okay, well, how much is this product worth? So it's time for product, or sorry, money for product, which that's not it either. It's actually the value of the impact that we create. So it's money for impact and the value of their lives. And I have this calculation that shows me like, okay, this is actually who I am. This is not a calculation of tying my worth to a number, but it oh my God, like it totally erased imposter syndrome for me because I'm like, okay, I actually know that I know and I know the impact that I make in people's lives. So I think that is part of the conversation that's missing in marketing is what is the what is the very true value of how they're going to live their lives differently because of their exposure to what we have to offer and what we've, really created our purpose around to deliver. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's an interesting dynamic with marketing and sales because you know, Alex Hormozy, everyone knows him. I saw a advertisement for the school platform, and he says on the school platform, we show you what to do, and you can make money from what you know. And then he makes a joke, says, even if you don't know anything, you can make money because it's marketing and sales, right? Like if the marketing is good enough, if the sales is good enough, you could have that transaction even if there's no value behind that transaction, which is some of the fallacy of overly aggressive tactics and bro marketing or having display apples that look shiny and red that are actually glossed or waxed and look real. And then when you buy the apples, it's like different apples. Yeah, Nathaniel.
Yeah, I just like to respond to that because I think too, I've heard him talk about this that, and I think this is part of the conversation is that like school is not really designed for experts or like authorities. It can be obviously you can create a community around an individual and teachings, but it's I think he's also talked about like the importance of crowdsourcing. So you could start a community on like something you're passionate about, but it's an interest to you and really bring in experts. I mean, you could start a fishing community and like talk about all the lures and stuff, but maybe you're just an amateur fisher and you've never made money and you have nothing to sell, but by bringing in all these experts, you can create a valuable product that is the community itself and has all these experts if you build a community well. So I think there's that part of it too. It's not necessarily like deceiving anyone. It's just like, hey, we're crowdsourcing and we're gathering around this. I mean, I didn't know the pickleball guy was like a well-known pickleball guy because I don't know anything about
Oh,
pickleball
I
guy,
didn't
but
know that either.
apparently he is. That's what my father-in-law he researched. He said, "Oh, he's well known." Because I was telling him about school, and he's like, "I'll see what I believe. I'll believe it when I see it," kind of thing. But I feel like anyone could have started that pickleball school if they were good at connecting with people and sharing their passion, and then it could have monetized in that way.
Yeah, good, good. Yeah, marketing and sales. I mean, there's fundamentals and mechanics to marketing and sales, and like it can be overly effective because it can be overly manipulative. And I'll share when I was a high ticket closer for an affiliate program. And what I learned about the sales call structure initially, which I don't follow as much anymore, but it's still effective, is that you frame you frame the call and then you dig into the pain of the person you're doing the call with, and then you pitch and you handle objections and then you close. It's quite a standard flow and it's very effective. It's very successful. But now I prefer diagnose, prescribe, clarify, and invite. So it's essentially the same mechanics, the same fundamentals, but it just feels different. It just feels more of service to the individual. Um, well, that also contributes to how if the marketing and sales are good enough, I mean, you can sell rocks, you can sell coal, you can sell things that have no actual value, which is, you know, the buyer's remorse and the reluctance for people to invest premium high ticket prices into people who actually care, who actually deliver the goods because people have been burned before, right? Um, Jarn.
When I went into the coaching um, business and made my certificate, like, and I got to contact with all of those people who and then therefore also tried to pitch me or to get me into their program. I'm like, I think it's good to be aware of the shadow, but like, how much do we really need to go in there? Like, because I think it's about the integration of what it's teaching us. And just because I think someone needs fixing doesn't mean that this person needs fixing. Like, who needs to be fixed? I think no one needs to be fixed. I think people need like genuine um, relationships and someone who really cares about them and not just about their own agenda. And this is something that just sucks. Like, because like how many people wanted to sell me their program because they thought I need to put fit into their box. And I'm someone like in school it hasn't worked like to put me in a box. I just break their structure. So every time I go into a box, I'm like I'm questioning them. I'm questioning their beliefs. I'm questioning all of that. And it doesn't always feel comfortable for them, but for me, not also, like it's not comfortable for me to be in the box. So I'm looking on like, what can I do to expand? So I'm challenging and I'm putting all of these cracks into the framework of the system that maybe a system or like a government or a person or whatever created because they believed in, but who says that I have to believe in that? So it's a very interesting time that we're moving out of, I believe. Um, and it's a very interesting conversation to listen to you all like sharing. So I feel we are having a reson field of resonance in here, which is important.
Yeah, that's well said. Yeah, I feel it. I feel the resonance. I've talked about it before. I'll talk about it again because, well, it's a different time now. There's different people here. That a lot of the marketing and sales strategy that is taught and utilized, it comes from like the industrial age of just mass manufactured products. And now I talk about how there's like this wisdom age of business and entrepreneurship emerging, where people are sharing their experiences and delivering amazing transformations through guidance and relationship, but we're still being taught these very mechanical, extractive marketing and sales strategies. And I feel there are people who they want to be honored. They want to be honored when they enter a sales situation. And I've encountered this as well as I've continued to take sales calls. Um, People are just grateful. People are grateful with how I conclude the sales conversation, even though they're not purchasing. And I've been on the receiving end of that as well when I'm not going to invest because it's just way out of my budget, or I just don't want to invest because I don't like the conversation. And you just feel that, why'd you waste my time? Okay, bye. It just ends like within a few minutes of that no. Um, and I say this on calls, I say it in the community, and I believe it. I'll help you a little bit or I'll help you a lot. If we work together, we don't work together. I want to offer you some direction and some suggestions, some tips to move you forward. And one of my mentors, he taught me something called the Paradise Close. Because what's interesting is that even if there is a sale, very often the conversation still ends after that money is collected. So the mentor taught me the Paradise Close is after you collect the investment on the sale, just spend some time with them to make them feel good about their investment. And that's the idea of the Paradise Close. Super simple. So my mentor didn't teach me that, but what I gathered from that, well, what if you have that same dynamic when someone doesn't buy? So I say, okay, from our conversation today, I hope you are able to have success on your own. I hope you figure this out. Like, what are you going to do from this conversation? I know I offer you some tips. What are you going to take action on? Okay, here's the community. I have these resources in there that may be able to help you. Definitely take a look at that. I still respect and honor your journey. I know now's not the right time for us to work together, but I really wish you the best. And people are just like, wow, like, who are you? Because people don't expect it, but they deserve it. Yeah. Jarn.
I think to be able to do that because it takes own experiences and like you've done the work on yourself in order for you being able to speak in this way with this person who is not buying from you. Because like if I have an agenda and my intention, it might be an unconscious intention is I need to sell. And then I'm not selling and I feel rejected and I have this uncomfortable feeling inside me because I haven't acted with pure intentions from the beginning. So this is the difficulty because then I can't even be happily ending this conversation or even to stay in contact with this person because I feel shame around that. So to become like to just like to go through that shame and to accept that this is shameful to act in a way, my own personal opinion, to act in a way that's just for my own, like it's not even benefiting the others, what I'm doing. And I think we have to come to a place where what I'm doing is not just in benefit for me, but also for the person that I'm talking to, no matter what the outcome is of this conversation. So I have to be free from all of those expectations from like needing to fix, needing to make anything, needing to make a sale or whatever, needing to provide. Even for that, like I need to let go of all of that and just to be present for what for the wisdom that wants to emerge from that relationship. Because from there on, when things evolve organically, everything happens naturally without us needing to do anything at all. We don't need to try because we are, and we're inspiring by being. So, yeah, it's a good time to be alive, I guess.
Yeah. Good time to be alive. Yeah. Yeah, Nathaniel.
Yeah, I just want to express appreciation, Jonathan, for what you're saying. I feel like, it's so true. And Justin, expanding on what you said, like, I feel like we are in a different time and people are awakening to remembrance of who we really are, realizing our true interconnection. And I mean, that's the heart of the golden rules. That's the heart of like, I love you call it paradise close. I'm going to use that. I feel like I always
Use
want to
it.
give a gift on a call, whatever the result is, and not have expectations because at the end of the day, it's like not everyone's going to be a fit or it's not going to be the right timing, but the relationship is more important. I think that's the only thing we get to keep in this whole journey is our stories and relationships with everyone as we, transcend into whatever ineffable experiences beyond this earth plane. But we don't get to keep the money, the things, and all the stuff that. But we do, I think, in the end, I think that's the only legacy we really have is our relationships. I believe we're eternal infinite beings and when we can honor that on a call, and as you were talking I just realized like yeah, it's like an opportunity. The fact that they got on a call, took action, are and you can help them just with one thing. And I love that about you, Justin. I've been on calls with you, and you've added like value. You do, and I feel like you live that talk, and so I appreciate that very much. Yeah, so thank you for expanding on it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, thank you. Um, Aliandis.
Just to build upon that as well, I think because we are emotional creatures and we can really tell when somebody's intention is self-centered or compassion-based. If somebody is trying to do something based on self-centeredness, you can always feel that icky kind of like there's something not right feeling. But when it comes to compassion, that Clothing approach that you mentioned, that perspective can completely shift. There might have been some sort of like perspective that the other person had that they're like, oh, obviously they want to sell to me, so I'm not gonna go ahead with it, regardless of what the situation is. But when you close it in that way and you show that compassion, understanding, and love and caring, that relationship might switch, and it might take them a day, a week, a month. But after some time, if you continue that conversation and keep talking to them, it might lead to a sale further down the line, an opportunity to help, even if it's not a high ticket sale. You never know. Just being there with pure intentions, with understanding, with compassion, and just unconditional love for other people can result in some incredible opportunities, I think.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, the word integrity has come up multiple times, right? So, what does this dynamic of integrity look like as you're engaging in marketing and sales and you're looking to enroll a client who may or may not work with you? And as we're talking, sometimes there's this heavy, uncomfortable feeling when someone doesn't become a client, and it may be easy to not maintain in integrity. And the word integrity, I mean, part of it is integer. And if you think about math and numbers, an integer is a whole number. So I see integrity as when you're aware of your wholeness, your completeness, and the wholeness and the completeness of the people around you or the person in front of you, the person that you may do business with. And as you know, even in this space, it's just like how do you honor people's presence? Because you could be doing anything, but choosing to be here in this conversations with creators call. I bring that same kind of intention into the networking call, and I don't think it's as prevalent as I would like it to be because we're just busy and we forget to be intentional with ourselves and who we're with. Okay, Eileen.
And there's the law of compensation as well. So, whatever good that we put out, it comes back. And I think one of the mistakes that we make is that we expect that, the bucket that we're pouring into is the bucket that should feed us. And that's not how it works. So when we show up in service, and I've seen examples of this time and time again, that when I am generous, goodness comes back to me. It could be goodness in health. It could be goodness in money. It could be goodness in relationships. It could be goodness in somebody holding a door open for me. And, people fail to recognize that, just because I'm giving here, I get to have no expectation of where it comes, and because that's the law of compensation, it must happen. So that's why I wrote like Earl Nightingale's quote, and I have it on my board. How can I increase my service today, knowing that my rewards in life must be an exact proportion of my service? And my rewards is every currency of abundance that there is. And that's the thing that as entrepreneurs, like we get to, or as people, really, that we get to live from that principle is being an expectancy of goodness because we're good and we serve.
Good. All right. Philip.
Wow, I love this conversation. I learned something from Ben actually, because I was on a couple of personal calls with him. And what I really liked about what he did is first he invited me on a call, and then after we connected, he invited me on another call. So not every sales call has to be ending in a sale. It can just end in a continuation of the connection.
Hmm.
And I did that today with somebody who found me on YouTube. I'm recently everyone who ever puts their number in on one of my opt-in pages on my website, I'm personally connecting with them on YouTube. Not YouTube, WhatsApp. They know me from YouTube, but I'm just sending them a video message on WhatsApp. And most of them are like, whoa, dude, I never had somebody on YouTube connect with me. I was like, yeah, I want to be the opposite to all the automation and the digitalization and the AI slop. I want to create human connection. I really want that. And at the same time, the reactions become so beautiful. And today I had a call with somebody, and the time flew away so fast, and he needed some help with business. Like what Ben is doing, he helps people with public speaking. So what he did with me and what I then got inspired by and did today was Ben just said like, hey, can I make a little speaking strategy for you, right? So I can kind of over the next 12 weeks show you where you are heading. And you can then decide if I'm your guy or not. Like it was very detached in that sense, which I think is also great for sales to not be like really needy for the sale, but to be detached in a way. And I had an incredible strategy call with him too, and I got so much value from it. So I really loved his way of doing it. I never had somebody book another call after the first call. Most sales calls that I had even say like, hey, if you don't have 4K right now to invest, we better just cancel the call, right? They're very much uh, time is the most important thing. And I think what's happening in this conversation is actually human connection is the most important thing. And I really believe that. And today I did, so I really loved what Ben did. Started doing the same. And today I met with somebody in South Africa. I've actually thought it was a woman name, but it turned out to be a man. So my messaging was a little bit more like, "Hey dear, how are you doing?" I was like, "Oh wow, it's a bro." Anyway, I had an incredible conversation with him. We ended up talking about business and about this topic. And I just said like, "Hey man, if you want another call where I just sharing with you what I learned over the last years in doing my own business, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel in that sense, and you can learn from my mistakes. If that seems good for you, let's book another call." And he was so amazed. He was so amazed. He was really like, "Oh, really? That's super generous. That's super selfless." And even he sent me a WhatsApp message after our call, like, "Wow, it's incredible how much in service you are. Like, I never had this happen before." Right? Like, so we become super unique by actually staying human. And we become
Mm.
super unique, but actually just feeling what is in the room. Because I had some brilliant conversation yesterday. I don't know if she's still here with Tanya. Oh my God, I laughed my ass off with her. She's so funny. No, I don't. Maybe she left. Anyway, I had a brilliant conversation with Tanya, and it felt like that had a different follow-up. There was something different in the room. It felt like, oh, maybe in a couple weeks from now, we can think about ways to collaborate together, right? So so every connection will have a different follow-up, and just to be open and to listen what's in the room and just to offer that at the end of the call, I think will make friends, business partners, clients will open up their networks to you. It's just a way more organic way of growing, right? Let's
Cross-pollination. Yeah, there
let's
you go.
go. Yeah, yeah.
Cross-pollination.
I just wanted to share that inspiration and and
That's,
and the application of it and how it came back to me. It's truly awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
really good. Thanks for sharing, Philip. I'll share a bit and then I'll call on Jarna, and then that might be it because we're almost at the hour. Um, we're all on school. School is a big place, but it's also a small place. Like I think it's even more important to honor the connections and not just honor the connections because people know people on school, but because it's what we're meant to do. And I've had calls with people, and I thought it was a sales call, and they didn't invest, and I just honored the person, gave them some tips and suggestions, and next thing you know, they invite a colleague to my community afterward, right? Like it comes back to you. That goodwill comes back to you. Um, and I really liked your share, Philip. One thing that I do for people who are not quite ready to work with me, but they say maybe in a month or 2 months, or I ask them, well, when you think in a month, 2 months? Let's put something on the calendar. A month later, on this call, how about we check in a month? It's not a sales call, it's just to check in with you in a month. And I do it another month if I sense they're close. And I've done that, and I've gotten clients from just doing like short 30-minute check-ins at 1 month intervals just to maintain the relationship, and then they enroll when they're ready. So it's kind of that dynamic where it's just the sales marketing cycle is longer. Someone said that earlier too. It is longer. And it is longer because sometimes people need the trust in the relationship. I'm sure there's other factors as well. Okay, so I'll call on Yarna, and I think you're the last one.
Yeah, thank you. I think like what I'm seeing in the room as well from the sharings, like it's the grace that comes down from giving, and we feel that graciousness within us when we're acting in service and we genuinely want to do good to others because what we transmit, what we give is of value because we believe in that, because we feel that, not just because we think we know it, but like our body is giving us the confirmation of being and doing so. So yeah, thank you for providing that space for us.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we're right on hour. Thank you everyone for sharing your time, your presence, and your insights and your experiences and your wisdom with us. I feel I feel wiser, more worldly, more experienced just by listening to the experiences of all of you. And I know a lot of you feel the same. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Have a great week. Be awesome. Take care. Bye.